So today I'll be touching upon principles of spirituality and why these principles are important and how can we implement them. Okay. So every practice around the world, doesn't matter whether you're practicing medical, you're practicing technology, you're practicing religion, you're practicing spirituality, every practice around the world has got certain principles. And if we go away from those principles, theoretically and practically, then we are not able to do those practices efficiently. Okay. And that's why principles are made. Okay. Because me being a scrum master or project manager, whatever that, in case if somebody's working in IT technology, they would know what a scrum master is. We operate on certain principles as well, just like, for example, courage, respect, um, openness, transparency, so on and so forth, right? So spirituality has got principles as well. But as I mentioned earlier in my previous videos, right, spirituality and unconditional self-love is pretty much the same thing. Unconditional self-love is, is the majority of the part from spirituality, basically. So what it says, the bottom line is what goes around is what comes around. And if you talk about the law of sciences from Newton, it says to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay. So the principle that I want to talk about today for spirituality, these are the main principles. And that can change your life entirely if you start following those principles. Where do we need to implement those principles? That's something that we need to know, that we need to have a complete clarity on. So as we say, karma. So in Hinduism, we know what karma is. In the Western part of the world, in case somebody is watching from Europe or maybe America, Canada, from the Western part of the world anyways, karma is really and truly what you do, what you say, what you think, and what your emotions are. Okay. Well, what we normally think is like what we do or what we say is our karma. No. Our thoughts, our emotions, they trigger actions and words. So our thoughts and emotions are the major karma. Simple. Okay. So if we start applying all those principles on our karma, then we can start changing our physical reality as well. And we can get out of the negative patterns or karmic cycle patterns or soul correction patterns or whatever that is. So the principles are peace, love, compassion, abundance, patience, forgiveness, non-judgmental, self-worth, and self-respect. Let me repeat that if you want to write it down. Peace, love, compassion, patience, abundance, forgiveness, non-judgmental, self-worth, and self-respect. So if I say peace, peace is like you can sit on your own without anybody and you're still peaceful. Anything comes to you which bothers you, you're still able to get your peace back whatsoever. Okay. That's why Jesus went into wilderness to get his peace, to gather his things together, and then he came back, with complete clarity and something like that. I don't know. Well, that's what I heard about it, but he was isolated for a little while, to understand how to live with himself in peace. Okay. Well, this is one aspect, or one principle, I mean. The second principle, love. Love is all about your passions. Love yourself in all the ways. So you can only know your passions until you have complete clarity and calmness in your emotions and thoughts. If you know your passions, start doing that. That's how you're going to love yourself. Now, loving yourself means also that you love yourself in all the areas, not just one. Patience. Patience is such an important thing. And majority of the people nowadays in the modern world, they don't have any patience at all. Why? Because we want instant gratification, instant validation, right? So patience, everybody knows what patience is. Our hardships teach us how to be patient, right? That's what it's called as patience. Anyways, abundance. We always screaming about, oh, we are running out of money. Oh, everything's costly. Oh, it's this. Oh, this is that. And you're always thinking about lack, a lack, a lack. I don't have any relationship. I don't have any kids. I don't have any partner. We are throwing a vibration of lack. However, abundance is what? Living with abundance mindset that you are still happy, you are still joyful, you still have your peace, even though if you don't have anything. That's abundance. In my life, I'll give you an example. I'm a 43-year-old guy. I don't have a family. I want to have a family. I don't have kids. I want to have kids. I don't have a house. I want to have a house. Right? I'm living on my own here, but I'm still in my peace. I'm still joyful. I'm still doing my job pretty well. And I live on my own. I don't go out anymore. Living joyfully and improving myself as far as making these videos are concerned. Right? So that's what is abundance. Right? Living with the abundance mindset that even though everything around me is against what I think, how I show my emotions, but still I'm joyful. I'll keep doing my work. Yeah. And this is the biggest way of manifesting things as well. Law of attraction, law of manifestation. That's what it talks about. I can talk about that in different media. It's not about affirmations, believe me. Affirmation is something, people just kind of like mislead in terms of that. They're doing their work. I'm not saying, they're bad or whatever that is, but however, this is not the truth. Self-worth. Worth is not about your money. Worth is your internal worth. What are you worthy of? Are you worthy of love? Are you worthy of good bank account? Hefty bank account. Are you worthy of good health, fit body? Are you worthy of respect? That's what worth is. All high value people would know their worth, internal worth, not external worth. External worth follows when there is internal worth already aware to them, made aware to them, if I have to say. Self-respect. If you want to govern respect, as I keep saying, like I govern my respect, right? If you want to govern respect, you got to respect yourself in all the areas. Money, your outlook, your clothing, your health, your discipline, your emotional and mental health, everything. You got to be taking accountability of yourself. And all the leaders around the world, they have such a great self-respect for themselves that respect automatically follows from outside. In that way, during this process of defining the self-respect for themselves, they have to have a healthy boundary. They're not arrogant people. They don't say that they're better than anyone. Because people will then think, oh, this guy has become something now. He must be egoistic or whatever that is. But those guys don't think like that, right? Those people don't think like that. They say, nobody's better than me, and I'm not better than anyone. They're very diplomatic. But anyways, because in unconditional self-love, you will not be talking wrong about anything around your life. Doesn't matter whether those are people, places, weather, things, money, whatever that is, politics or war. So forgiveness is the biggest power. If you learn to forgive people, you will learn to heal yourself. Simple. Start forgiving people. If you hate somebody, start forgiving that person. And then you would have to ask yourself questions. Why should I go ahead and forgive that person? Of course, that person is gone, right? Who hurted you? Who probably slapped you or something like that? You're still alive. It's such a pity thing when we go through those kind of heartbreaks. When a person will come and break our heart, despite the fact that you got true feelings for that person, it hurts. Then you say, why this person did that to me? And then you start cursing that person. But I did the other way around. I started forgiving that person. I started blessing that person. I said, oh, she came into my life to teach me a lesson. And then I start healing. So, non-judgmental. It's written in the Bible as well. If you judge, you gotta get judged, right? So we should be thinking twice. I would not say twice. I would say 5 times before judging anyone. Because it's so easy to judge. And then when you get judged, then you say, oh, why is that person judging me? Yeah. So how can we implement this, right? Before I deep dive into that, let me introduce myself again. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sunny. I'm a spiritual coach and a meditation teacher. I teach meditation with the true power of silence that comes from ancient Hinduism. This is a God-gifted skill to me. And the skill, along with the principles of spirituality, the biggest manifestation that I have in my life is to govern my respect, which actually happened just because of the reason that I'm able to stabilize my emotional and mental health to a very large extent. Although it doesn't say that people are not going to hurt me, right? They're gonna, they will keep trying to hurt me. It's okay, but I will not get any triggers or anything of that sort. I'll just move on. And it'll take me maybe a couple of hours a day to get over that. And then I'm okay. I'm not going to be keeping any hate. So that's how you govern your respect, right? And then you do not get back to those kind of people ever. But I guess. So how can we implement it? Whenever we are going through those kind of bouncy thoughts or emotions, we're going to keep an eye on that, pay attention towards it. How can we pay attention? Take a deep breath, pay attention towards it, and start reversing them one by one. If you're hating someone from a very long time, you're keeping a soul tie with that person, emotional soul tie. What it does is it keeps you in that loop of hatiness. This is just an example, right? So instead of that, whenever you get that thought that you hate that person, you start reversing by saying, I forget that person and I bless that person that person came into my life to teach me a lesson, instead of blaming. So this is one of the biggest examples that I can give you because this happens with most of the people around the world. Somebody hurts them, and they keep that grudge on until they die, and that hate always follows them from one way or the another through different channels, through different people. They keep attracting the same kind of people all the time. Okay. So we got to take a step back whenever we get those kind of thoughts. We start reversing them using the principles that I mentioned. And you got to ask yourself questions as well, introspect, which is called as accountability. Okay. And the meditation that I teach, not just, as I said, not just healed me completely, but also made me emotionally and mentally stable in terms of giving me complete clarity in my life, what I really need to do, help me to remove my fears as well. So, spiritual laws are completely based on these principles, and what happens is spirituality loves one thing, that you say good for everything. Doesn't matter whether that's pain or happiness. Spirituality likes it. The creator likes it. The universe likes it. You know why? Because they want you to grow. They don't want you to be stagnant or get stuck into anything. So if you start saying good to everything, even to the pain, then the reality of yours starts changing. In my case, I'm going to give you a quick example before I wrap up this video. Um, I've gone through everything in my life: heartbreaks, financial losses, health loss, my father's death, everything. I've seen everything multiple times. Deaths in my family, and during my college time as well. My friends died at the age of 21. They got drowned in a river back in India. They died at such a young age, although they were not very close friends of mine. But that was a shocking thing for us to go through because they were batchmates. I've seen accidents happening at the same age, right? When I was 22, 23. My friends whom I used to study with. And that teaches me a lesson that despite of carrying those traumas, it's better to release those souls with forgiveness and blessing and heal yourself and move on with love and peace. Always remember one thing, guys. What you are is what you're gonna get. This is Sunny signing off, and see you in my next video. Take care.